Hi everyone, my name is Camilla Burden from canfitpro. We're here today with one of our amazing Montreal presenters, Rebecca Gray. Rebecca, it's so good to have you here.
Thank you, Camilla. It's so great to be here. Thank you.
So can you please tell us a bit like how you got started in the fitness business and how you got here?
Yeah, so I was in retail management for about 15 years
Oh,
and
wow.
decided to take a break from that when I had my third child.
Okay.
Tried to take some time to just with family and to work on my health a little bit myself. In that time that I was off with her, I was able to lose a significant amount of weight, get healthier, and I was just able to. I really was passionate. I was passionate to help others do the same thing. So, I contacted canfitpro. And a few months later, I was able to be certified, and from there was able to combine my passion for customer service and business, and immediately started my own business. Yeah.
That's amazing. So when you have your clients, how do you, like if I'm looking to start my own personal training business, like how would I define my ideal client, or how do you do it, or how can we do that as personal trainers?
I think what is really important to anyone's success is commitment level. So if they are, if they're 90% committed, you can get them that other 10. But if they're 50% committed, it's going to be a struggle for both of you. So I think definitely to check in on their commitment level, make sure that you're not making their goals too big too soon. Really set them up for success, feeling committed to not only themselves, but trusting themselves, trusting you, trusting the process, and just be committed to success.
That's great. So is there any clients, like you said, if they're 50% committed, do you ever turn people away or say maybe we can't work together?
Not usually. I don't feel that I feel like everybody needs help. If someone is brave enough to ask you for help, it's important to help them. So I don't really turn anybody away, but there's certainly different levels of coaching and training. So for instance, I made a personal choice many years ago not to train people that smoke. That's just for their own safety, for my safety. But I wouldn't turn them away. I would start with coaching them into quitting smoking. So, and kind of build from there. I think to get that success that you're looking for, it's really important to start from the inside out. And so no, I wouldn't really turn anybody away, but there's definitely different levels.
Well, that's so interesting. So how do you usually find your clients, especially because you do work for yourself?
Actually, believe it or not, it's pretty easy because once you have established a few clients, it's pretty easy to have word of mouth. So that's really the best way. For me, I have a studio in my home, so I'm not just going to have strangers come into my home. So it's important for me to have word of mouth. My new clients always know somebody that I know. That's for my own safety, obviously, and and with word of mouth, it also gives them an idea of what they're getting out of me before we even begin. So my clients are so great with recommending me and to their friends and family and colleagues, and that's has always worked for me. Because I work for myself, I really don't have, and I would recommend this to all new trainers, is to not really do a mass, pamphlet or email to random people. It's a very personal business, and you want to make sure you're safe and that you can really be the best that you can be.
Interesting. So then if I'm starting my own business, how would I promote myself as a personal trainer? Like, where do I start before I get these referrals?
Okay, so I'm going to talk about this in Montreal, actually, when we go to the conference. I have a session called Building Your Personal Training Business, so I would highly recommend visiting us for that. But for the best thing that you can do starting out for promotion is yourself. So always know that you're the face of your business. Every time you leave the house, everything you say, people are paying attention to you. So, I'm very careful with who I follow on social media. What I eat, how I train, what I say, my confidence, that's what they're looking for. And, the worst thing you can do as a new trainer is to go into the gym with a coffee in your hand and telling them how terrible your commute was. Nobody wants to hear that, right? People are there to be uplifted and motivated. I wouldn't say that you should fake it till you make it, because people can see through that. Just be your authentic self, be you, and, you know, always know that people are paying attention, and present yourself the best that you can.
It's so interesting. I do like what you said, that you shouldn't, complain even if you work for yourself or a gym.
Yes. Yes.
So I think that's, yeah, something we may not even think about in our day to day, but I think that's very important.
Yes. A
Um,
lot of them have many big issues they're dealing with. The last thing they want to hear about are your sick kids at home or whatever it is. Yeah.
So you just mentioned going into a gym. So what would you say is the biggest difference? Let's say I work for a gym versus working for myself. Like, what are the things I guess you would have to learn, like to transition, or what are the biggest differences that you find?
Yeah, for this length of time that I've worked for myself, I've have what I learned very early on is it's all on me. You know, the workouts, the research, the, you know, designing programs, finding clients, the hustle, the business end, it's all on me, which is can feel heavy some days, but most days is extremely rewarding. So when you work for yourself, every aspect of that is all on you. It's great when you are creative with your workouts and you have flexibility. The difference in the gym, obviously, you have clients coming to you. You have their facility. You don't have to worry about paying your taxes. You know, all those other things that come into owning your own business. So if you feel like you're not a self-starter or a self-motivator, you may want to start at a gym and kind of get a feel for the business first, and then maybe go on to, you know, doing it for yourself.
I think that's really good advice.
Thank you.
So what's one thing you'd say surprised you when you started working for yourself full time?
The personal training business, the biggest thing that surprises me is always people. And you would think after, you know, working in retail for so many years, I would not be surprised, but I still am. Some of the people that you think are going to do so great, they end up struggling, or vice versa. You know, I have people that come to class every week and they complain and they hate it, and I hate Rebecca, and they come back every week. So, so everybody, I think that you know, everybody needs something different, and what I've really learned is a lot about just the human condition, and that everybody needs something. And I've learned a lot of patience and understanding, and in people. That's the biggest surprise. Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't think that. So when you do own your own personal training business, I guess, can you just tell us a bit, like if I'm starting to think about that, what would
Mhm.
be some of my expenses that you said, maybe taxes, that things I may not consider?
Yes. So it's always consider, especially as a new trainer, there are almost like two different aspects of your expenses. So you will have obviously, you know, your CPR training, your canfitpro, your insurance, driving from client to client, rental space, kind of the basic stuff. But you also need to consider your expenses on the client end of it. So if you get paid, if you're lucky enough to get $100 an hour, know that when you work for yourself, you're not getting $100 an hour. You're getting $100 for that training hour, but you also have to design the program, get to your client's house. The follow-up is always way more than you think it's going to be. And that's always more time. So your time is an expense that you have to kind of break down, as well as everything else. So your time is your biggest asset. And my best advice is to use that, you know, the best that you can.
That's so interesting. That's definitely not what I would think, but I think that's really
Yeah,
important. Like you said, all the work before or after you meet the client,
it's a lot. Yeah.
preparing the research, the follow-up. I think that's very interesting. I really like that.
Well, you're going to love my session in Montreal, Camilla.
Um, so I know a lot of people, a lot of personal trainers, maybe they're working in retail full time or somewhere
Mhm.
else, and they're doing personal training on the side.
Mhm.
At what point would you think a person would know they're ready to, let's say, quit their daytime job and make personal training full time? Because I think a lot of people hesitate with that. So
Yes.
how would we know?
I think that you have to really listen to what you really want to do. So I always knew very early on that I have a passion to motivate and help people. So that was an easy decision for me. Obviously, if you're not doing well on the part-time level, you probably don't want to jump into full-time. But if you feel like you're on the fence, like I might want to do this, I might not, I always give the advice to jump in, because research shows that we spend 80% of our time doing something that we don't like or we're not good at. So imagine how good you could be if you're really focused on the thing that you're passionate about and you love. You could really do it, but you have to do it 150%. To really be successful. Like I said earlier, if you're not a self-starter, this probably isn't the business for you. So I would definitely say, if you're on the fence, just jump and do it. And worst case scenario, you fall and you fail, and well, guess what? You just start over again. There's always a reason why we have these whispers in our ear that we should do this or do that. I think, you only get one life, and you go for it.
That's great. That's really good advice.
Thank you.
So what are some things you wish you knew when you started working for yourself, or maybe something, if I want to work for myself, what would you want me to know?
I was so excited for you to ask me this question, because it's something that I tell people all the time. I didn't learn this early on. This took me a long time to learn, and that is, it's the self-care aspect of training. So we are, professional encouragers. So we give and give and give a lot. And if we're not giving back, if we're not putting it back in what we're giving out, it's you can burn out really fast and end up just hating your job. You're listening to very emotional problems most of the day, and even the follow-up can be really draining. So if you're not putting something good back in, it can be really hard on your heart, and it can be really tiring as well. So I have gotten into the habit of, a regular meditation, making sure that people I'm following on social media are positive and uplifting. I spend time with people that I love, and I say no to the things I don't really want to do. And I think when you can take that time and put it back into yourself, you're always going to be a better trainer. You're going to be a better whatever you're doing in your life and in your business. So I think that when you are a giver, like we all are in this business, it's really, the key is to put back in. Yeah.
I think that is so important to your point.
It really is. Yeah.
I think that's a really good point.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Rebecca. So make sure to catch Rebecca Gray at CanFitPro Montreal. She has 2 incredible sessions. On Saturday, we have Building Your Personal Training Business, where, as Rebecca said, she'll teach you, I guess, how to start your own personal training business, how to do it full time, which I think is so cool. And then we also have the panel, The Evolution of Personal Training.
It's going to be so good.
I can't wait, because we've also had Malin Devon on the show. We had Chris Fudge on the show. So it's going to be a great discussion with Mark Fitzgerald, JP Richard, John Denise Thompson. So I think it'll be really good.
Yes.
So make sure to catch Rebecca at CanFitPro Montreal to learn about building your personal training business.
Thank you, Camilla. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the snow.
Thank you so much, Rebecca.
Thank you.